Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the noob, Caliban. And did you get one of these letters?
Yeah, actually, I did.
Yeah.
Did you?
Well, I'm a little bit flattered.
Yeah, me too. I wonder what it means. And we're a couple of magical people ready to moon prison power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is a part of the Just Enough Trope Network. So today we are talking about episode number 19, Usagi Kangeki, Tuxedo Kame no Labuleta in Japanese, or Usagi's Joy, a love letter from Tuxedo Mask, the English translation, and the English title, Who is that masked man?
Okay, all right. I'm trying to keep it together.
I know, right?
No break for our audience, but we haven't done this in a while. Recorded one of these in a while, and so I forgot how mad they make me, but I'm okay.
How infuriating the titles make you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's try to alleviate some of that anger, maybe a little bit.
With a weird episode.
It is a weird episode.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
It's
There's
weird.
a lot going on.
And it's always weird when you open on the creep house. We start with the bad guys in this. We're going to kind of see it from their point of view. And
That's a good point.
Nephrite is doing the planetarium thing. And it turns out that Leo and Regulus, the brightest star in the constellation Leo, are up. Mm-hmm. And at this point, we know that the heat is on. Nephrite is looking for the weaknesses of the sailors. We got to focus on. We're just not going to be able to get this energy. These girls keep running in and throwing things at them. It's not going to work.
Right.
So we see some footage from the previous episodes of the sailors kind of doing stuff. And Tuxedo Mask seems to feature big in this little mini clip show that Nephrite's looking at. And he deduces, or induces maybe, from this that Sailor Moon is in love with Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah.
So this is it. This is the key. This is the linchpin to getting this done. While he's doing all that, he should have locked the space around his house, because Zoisite appears and tells him, Mom's calling, so we got to go down and talk to Queen Beryl in the Dark Kingdom. And we go right there, and Beryl tells Nephrite this is like a checkup. This is, like, we're looking for some of this energy. Where is it? Where's the energy? And Nephrite's like kind of strident about it. He's like, hey, the universe wasn't created overnight. I need time to get this energy.
I know.
And she's like, don't talk back. If you can't get it done, remember what happened to old JD?
Yeah.
He's in the ground.
That's right.
Not found. Eternal sleep.
Yes.
And Zoisite is loving this. But Nephrite's like, hey, I'm one of the great four. You better watch your mouth.
Right.
And Zoisite's like, sure, Nephrite. Yeah, I'm sure. You're really great. So it's TikTok already. The pressure's on.
I know.
And Beryl seems amused by the conflict between her employees. She's a bad boss.
She's not a great boss.
She's kind of getting a little chuckle at this them fighting. So.
She doesn't seem to care if there's infighting, as long as the job gets done.
Have you seen the crowd? She's got a deep bench here.
I know.
So she's not really worried about these guys.
No.
Not working it out. Meanwhile, at the Tsukino household, Usagi receives a love letter from Tuxedo Mask.
I know.
She is over the moon. But Luna is like, why would he know where you live? Like, why does he know that you're Sailor Moon?
Yeah,
that doesn't.
Exactly.
This doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
And Usagi's like, but that's how much he loves me. So of course.
You saw through my disguise.
But it's short lived, because the next day at Jubin Jr., all the girls got a love letter from Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah.
And Naru got one too. Everybody got one. Yeah. Naru wishes that hers was from that Sanjoin, Masato Sanjoin, or whatever his name is, a.k.a. Nephrite.
Yes.
She's got really questionable taste in men.
She does.
We're still building up to that Naru pregnancy scare episode.
Oh, boy.
And Miss Haruna comes in and says, hey, come on, girls, don't be taken in by these letters. You don't know where they're from. You got to be careful. And I'm assuming that she's got experience in that regard specifically. And she tells the girls, Don't go to the MS department store in Shinjuku like this letter is saying.
Right.
It says to meet Tuxedo Mask there tomorrow night.
Uh-huh.
What department? There's not a lot of information.
Well,
Opera-wear, I guess.
Well, I think
Meet me in the Cape section.
It just says the department store itself. It doesn't say where.
I guess.
Good point.
We'll figure it out. Love will find the way. And then Miss Haruna turns around and she's like, "Where's my letter?" So
No!
Good stuff. Luna goes to the only sensible person she knows, Ami, and she says, "This is bad. I don't know what's going on here, but we should probably talk to Ray and get her in on this too." Meanwhile, at Game Center Crown, Mamoru is hanging out with Motoki, and they're talking about the letters, and
because somehow they know about it.
Well, it's going around. Every girl got one. And later we learned that Ray got one. So it wasn't just Juba. It was apparently every 14-year-old girl in town got a letter.
Yeah.
So Mamoru is playing a crane game that has like Sailor Moon characters in it.
Yeah.
Like there's a Tuxedo Mask doll. And
one,
so how does this work? Who's getting paid off of this?
Yeah, these are all
you always wonder,
valid questions.
In like Marvel does this a little, but DC really does this. Like in the Shazam movie, he goes to a toy store and there's like Batman toys. And it's like,
right.
Who's making money off the Batman toys?
Right. Like did he sign with a company?
Well, I guess I suppose you could, but if you didn't, you'd probably have to you can't take anybody to court. Because you don't have an identity. You know what I mean?
True.
You're a vigilante, a bat person.
Yeah.
So yeah, somebody's getting ripped off here, but that's okay. Usagi shows up at the arcade and she explains, she's sad that everybody got the same letter and she cries because of course she does. Meanwhile, at the temple, Ray is sick in bed when Ami comes to visit her. And Ami says, okay, well, I'll take care of it. And it looks like Ray, we find out, also got a letter.
Yes.
And she's like, "Oh, I wish I could go." She's got the black lung. Which is weird. I mean, we have to. You could find a reason that there's a lot of things where Usagi has to do everything alone, and then they show up at the end. But I wonder why they specifically decided to make Ray sick. It's like how when you watch movies, you don't often see people with a cold or something like that, unless it's part of the story.
I think if she wasn't sick, she would have gone too, and they would have been there together, and then they would have fought, over. But all that could have been
Usagi has to do is just take off on her own, which she does, and we'll get to.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Tokyo, perhaps at a department store, we don't know. We see Nephrite in his civilian guise, and he's thinking his evil thoughts. And suddenly Naru shows up. Oh, no. And she, of course, knows him as Mr. Sanjoin.
Yes.
And she asks him point blank if he's Tuxedo Mask. And
right.
he thinks that she knows that he sent the letters.
Yes.
So she must be Sailor Moon.
Right.
So he's playing it cool. He's like, "You're the cutest girl at that junior high," which nobody should ever say that ever.
Yeah, especially a somewhat ambiguous 25-year-old man.
You're being generous.
Yeah.
And he says, "I guess I'll see you tomorrow," i.e. at the department store.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Wow, this is going to be so great. Girl, he was your sister's evil tennis coach. What are you doing?
I know.
Where is your mom? She's got too much responsibility
question.
running this jewelry store. Not looking out for you."
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just thinking, Mrs. Naru Sanjoin. Oh, that sounds great. Meanwhile, Usagi is still upset about this letter situation, but she says, "I'm over it. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to just take care of this in person." And she gets ready for her date. She gives her date etiquette rules.
Which I'm like,
Rule
where did she learn this?
Number 1, I don't know. It's got to be a Girl Star magazine or something like that she's getting these from. But, rule number 1, wear clean underwear. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I know.
First of all, is this a problem in general?
Yeah, don't you
And second of
generally do
all,
that?
wow, what a way to start. But anyway, so wear clean underwear and a nice clean outfit. Okay, all right. Number 2, date etiquette number 2, wear a non-offensive fragrance.
Yes.
Date rule etiquette number 3, brush your teeth just in case. Which, again, come on, don't worry about this kind of stuff. And date rule etiquette number 4, wear a soft lip color.
I know.
So she's all ready to go for her date. That night, Naru is waiting at the department store, which is closed and all the lights are off. And when she gets there, that roller door like opens by itself. So right
Not
away,
creepy at all.
Yeah, we got the couple warning flags.
Stranger danger.
Oh, girl. But suddenly, Tuxedo Mask appears at the top of an escalator. And this whole next scene, which is about maybe 30 seconds to a minute long, takes place as he's coming down this escalator. But anyway, everything's great, except he's got long brown hair. But,
right?
Yeah. But Naru immediately recognizes him as Mr. Sanjoy. Because he's got tennis coach hair.
Yeah.
And suddenly he lunges at her. And he's like, show me who you really are. And he touches her chest. Hopefully he's using a power there.
Yeah, right?
Or that's what he's going to tell the cops, at least.
It's a little weird.
But yes, it's a very tense moment. We switch really fast to Shinjuku Station, where Usagi's just hanging out, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure if she was going to do a little shopping before she maybe stops by the...
Maybe she's, like, nervous, so she's, like, kind of hanging out.
Well, it's a weird
that.
place to be because there's a lot of random people that they draw in the crowd. And there's a guy with, like, a sign. It's like a protest sign.
That.
He's got a sign on a stick. And
Wow.
I can't remember what it says, but it's like, yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know what he's doing
so
there.
Random.
Anyway, are there just like weird things you'll see in Shinjuku Station?
Well, I mean, it is part of Tokyo, so.
Okay. Anyway, so Usagi is actually goes to the department store, and she catches the tail end of this assault that's happening here.
Right.
She didn't tell Ami and Ray she was going. She said, "I'm taking my handless alone." And suddenly she gets a call from Ami, who's wondering where she is on her little Avengers card. Mm-hmm. And she tells her Shinjuku, and Ray is in the background. She's like, "Is she go on her own?"
Yes, exactly.
And she jumps out of bed. Nobody's going to go on a date with Tuxedo Mask behind my back.
Right.
So that's a little side thing. Back to the sex crime in progress. Mr. Sanjoin is frustrated because Naru won't transform into Sailor Moon. But Naru just says that she's in love with him, and immediately intense energy like flows out of her like a lightning bolt, and into his hand, I guess, and she collapses. And Usagi sees all this, and she wonders what the hell Tuxedo Mask is doing.
Right.
But then she takes a closer look, and of course, it's not Tuxedo Mask.
Yes.
So we got to get into this. She transforms into Sailor Moon.
Yes.
And across town, out of nowhere, we see Mamoru. He's just walking down the street.
Yes.
And suddenly he is hit with a huge whammy. Then he collapses to the ground. And he, like, disappears? He, like, transports away or something? And we see a flash of Tuxedo Mask in full costume.
Right.
Meanwhile, back in the department store, Sailor Moon confronts Nephrite. You don't even belong in a tuxedo, she tells him. And he wants to know how she can tell that he's not really Tuxedo Mask. Maybe it's the hair. And she says, it's the intuition of a girl in love.
Right.
And we get Sailor Moon kick. And she knocks...
I'm such a huge fan of Sailor Moon kick.
She knocks his hat right off. And he's still got Naru in his arms, and he's like, fine, take her. And just throws Naru at her.
Real nice.
And then he calls on Regulus, the brightest star in Leo, to grant him power. And sure enough, a giant space lion appears. A blue lion appears and starts
I like your description.
Chasing Usagi. Well, this is, the personified constellation, I guess.
Right.
But anyway, the lion starts chasing Usagi down. And it looks really bad until a rose hits the lion in the face. Yes. And we've got the genuine article, Tuxedo Mask. He's here just chilling by the elevator. And he says, whoa, it's not cool to use my name to male young girls. Come on, man. I'm going to throw in jail. And Sailor Moon starts losing her mind. And he tells her, okay, you got to get out of here. Go. And she's like, okay, Mr. Real Tuxedo Mask. Starts to run away. And Nephrite's like, not so fast. And he sicks the lion on Tuxedo Mask. It looks like they're going to have a big throwdown. But Sailor Moon stops. And she's like, wait a minute, I can't just run away. So she says, watch out. And we get some Moon Tiara action. But it's to jazzy fight music.
Yeah.
It's not her usual theme. But maybe that affects things because the lion gets hit with the tiara but doesn't disappear. So this is not a regular Yoma that we're dealing with here.
Right.
Tuxedo Mask and Sailor Moon, they run into the elevator to get away, but this is all part of Nephrite's plan as the elevator closes and locks, and he's going to have it go all the way up to the top, and then it's going to drop all the way down. And they'll be like pancakes, which is delicious, but Usagi does not want to be a pancake.
Right.
She wants to eat pancakes.
Right.
She's really flustered in the elevator. She's afraid for her life, but she's got Tuxedo Mask right there, and she's happy about that. And he's like, we got to get out of here. And he opens the service hatch. Don't try this, kids.
No.
If this was an American show, we'd have a PSA at the end of this thing. And they get on top of the car, and it goes all the way up, and they jump off the car right before it takes off and plunges to the bottom. And we get a big yata from Nephrite and his egg shoulders. And he thinks he's done it, so I guess he takes off. Back in the shaft, Tuxedo's hanging onto a ledge by his fingertips, and Sailor Moon is hanging onto him. They got to find a way out of this, but until they do, they should try to distract themselves? No, maybe you should try to find a way out.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, this is the perfect chance for Usagi to finally ask Tuxedo Mask all these burning questions.
Yes, and she has a lot of them.
Yeah, she asks him, why do you always rescue me? And he says that his blood roars and makes him want to rescue her. She says, well, it's because you love me. Oh, what's wrong with me? Why am I acting like this? And the next question, who are you? And he can't answer because he's supporting their weight. But she's like, you're Matoki, aren't you? Oh, why am I saying these silly things?
I know.
And he tells her that he thinks he must have known her long ago, but he can't remember. Just then he's starting to weaken, and he's about to slip. And they really need to get serious. So Usagi says, what are your favorite foods? And what books do you like? Oh, this is not helpful.
No.
It's not really helpful at all.
No, it's not.
They're just about to fall to their deaths when the elevator shaft door opens. And it's Mercury and Mars.
Yeah.
And Luna's there, and they drag her up. And Mercury's like, you shouldn't have come, here alone. And Mars, of course, thinks that she did it to have Tuxedo Mask to herself.
Right.
But otherwise, everything's okay. Ami is carrying Naru on her back, which is like, wow, that's an impressive feat of strength.
Yeah.
The Tuxedo Mask is like, okay, stay in school, kids. And he just disappears. But really, he's hiding just below the roof ledge, like sometimes Batman does comedically, because he decided to get out of there. He doesn't like it when girls fight.
Yes.
And he's flashed down to the Dark Kingdom. And this is it, like Zoocyte's like making his movies trying to get Nephrite put to sleep.
Yes.
But it turns out that the energy that Nephrite got from Naru is extremely powerful when they, put the litmus test strip of paper in there, like, whoa, this is great energy.
Right.
This is 99% pure. And Queen Beryl's like, oh, this is good stuff. Okay, I'm not going to punish you this time. And mind your own business, Zoocyte. Do your own thing. You got to find that silver crystal.
That's right.
So no sleep for Brooklyn or for Nephrite. He's hanging around for a while. We cut back to the creep house to Nephrite. He's back in the planetarium, and he's contemplating that Naru really loves his alter ego, and we get a real evil laugh.
I know.
So an open and shut with Nephrite, bookending this thing.
Good point.
The Nephrite show.
It's the Nephrite show.
Oh, and I guess I should say my Dumb Bunny rating is a 3. It's not too bad.
Okay.
Usagi is really pretty dumb in this episode. But again, it all goes to character, and
Yes.
it goes to her relationship with Tuxedo Mask.
Yes.
And she goes off on her own heroically, but is maybe not ready to it's all stuff that like plays into who she is.
Yes. I would agree with that.
Not like some other episodes.
No. Some other episodes, she's pretty dumb.
And that's it.
All right.
How would you describe Just Enough Trope? We are the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
Oh no, does this mean they can hear all the things I yell at the TV during Downton Abbey?
Why did you do that?
How do you plead?
Let the game begin. Yeah, check these fresh moves. Oh!
Don't shoot man in face.
This isn't the Save Gotham fundraiser.
It's the Chill Family Reunion.
Master Yoda assigned a Padawan to this bold
I
Jedi.
think it's pronounced Padawan.
Oh, Padawan, excuse me.
Hey, it's getting late. I think Ralph's going to want his motorcycle back.
Go jerk off the pictures of Jean Grey.
I am freaking getting old.
Yeah, I noticed the life clock was blinking in your hand.
Get out of here, Wilson. Go fight the Teen Titans or something.
I'm unkillable, not unwoundable.
You like Sailor Moon, right? Why don't you sail on his
Oh, wow.
Just Enough Trope. News, reviews, and geek fondue. Every Monday on the Just Enough Trope podcast network.
Loving me never have a say. You so sorry.
What?
Kyoro Kyoro Miru, curiously looking around, where you talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, I thought we could talk about department stores in Japan, or as they are usually called depato, or hyakuten. But depato is kind of what I heard a lot when I was over there.
Huh.
So they tend to be very tall, because in Japan you can build up, but you can't necessarily build out that much. So they tend to be between 5 to 10 floors. They kind of tend to be on the pricey side. They have, nice quality stuff, kind of like department stores in the US. So they're similar. They were originally founded in 1904. The first modern style depato was Mitokoshi. It used to be a kimono store, and it was called Echigoya when it started in 1673.
Echigoya.
Yeah. And actually, a lot of the first department stores were originally kimono stores.
I was going to say, I mean, like a big box store, a department store is kind of a Western thing. And then you've got this. I mean, I'm sure they had like really big stores in Edo or whatever.
Right.
But like just taking this tradition of like this gigantic store that's going to have every single thing.
Yes.
It isn't just like the men's kimono store and then down the street the women's kimono store.
Right.
And doesn't that like kind of fit into like their modern tradition of what's the station that what station's got all the gadgets and stuff, or the ward?
The ward that has it's Akihabara.
Yeah. But it's all like there isn't just like a gigantic, monolithic Best Buy in Akihabara.
There's lots of different stores.
Right. Because that's sort of like their tradition.
Yes.
So how do they square like when they got a Sears in 1907 or whatever? Like how did they square that? Like people are just, we got to check this big store out.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of them, because they started as smaller stores, they had like a customer relationship already, and then they decided they were going to be bigger and have other things.
Do they have Mervyn's of California?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't recall seeing a Western or North American department store over there. But besides kimono shops, another really popular way that depato started was Japanese railway companies. And they built depato connected to their termini, their terminals. And still to this day, there's there are certain train stations in certain areas that are rather large, and a lot of them have like different shops and stuff like that, and some of them have depatos connected to them.
Huh.
And the most popular that were railway they're called, still around, Hankyu and Seibu. They're the most prominent, and the departments there tends to be an overall order to how they are laid out. The lower level typically has a food court or grocery store. The cosmetic area is usually on the ground floor. Next couple of levels are women's clothing, followed by men's clothing and men's sporting goods. The next couple of levels are typically home goods, toys, and stationery. Sometimes there are restaurants on the top floor, and there's often a garden on the rooftop.
Okay.
So,
now, does this is all interesting, but does this relate to, is it the same with like Walmart in Japan or?
They don't really have stores that are exactly like Walmart and Target like in Japan. That's like it's a novelty
because Target's a department store. It's
True.
Like a discount department store.
True. They do have, this isn't exactly related, but they do have a lot of Hyaku Enya. That's the 100 yen store. So it's like about everything is like about $1 US. And they're actually really good quality, unlike our dollar stores. And those are so popular there are lots of different variations on that as well. I think there's like the 300 yen and like maybe 1,000 yen too. So
if you're just gonna buy like a pair of pants, like where do you go in Japan?
Oh boy. I mean, you could go to a department store. There is a store, I guess, that would be kind of similar to like Gap, or maybe a little bit less expensive than that, maybe like an Old Navy, called Uniqlo. It's a really popular
Sounds like a
clothing
Transformer.
store.
It's a Decepticon.
So maybe you would go there. Yeah, but the hours of operation tend to be from like 10 to 8 p.m., but the restaurant hours tend to be open
Then
later.
the supervillains meet with their underage paramours after that.
Yes,
around 9
exactly.
or so. Yeah. Weird.
I know. And our next segment is Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? Nothing! Unless you want to count the pretty light pink lipstick or them turning flat as pancakes. There was no food in this episode.
She almost got eaten in this episode.
Yeah, that's
lion.
true. But there is a lot of fashion in this episode. So my heart is a kaleidoscope where we talk about fashion in Sailor Moon. I don't know that we have talked about Motoki's outfit yet that he wears at the game center.
Right.
So he wears like brown slacks, and in this episode it's like a light pink short sleeve button up shirt and then like an apron. I was trying to see like what arcade people who work in arcades wear. Like I don't know that I've seen anybody in Japan who works in an arcade wearing an apron. So I'm wondering...
I'm trying to think of my arcade days now. I could see... Because if you're gonna... I mean, it's just like... It indicates that you're
You
working,
work there.
period. It's got pockets that you can put tools or, tokens in or something like that.
Right.
And then if you are going to do a little bit of light wrenching on like machines and stuff like that, it would keep the dirt and the grease off of
That's
your...
a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see it. I could see an Aladdin's castle on the front of an apron.
Right. Doesn't it say like it's like Game Center Crown, I think is what it's called.
I know that's what it's called.
Yeah, but why not doesn't it say that? Anyways. And then of course we have Usagi's date outfit. So besides a clean pair of underwear, she's wearing a dress that has a pink blouse with a white collar and a skirt that is lime green with a bow at the back.
I can see it in my mind. I feel like she's worn this before.
I feel like she has too, or
Yeah.
she's at least worn things similar.
Yeah.
And she has a white purse and, of course, her pretty light pink lipstick. And then Naru's outfit is a variation on something we've seen her wear before.
It's like a long-sleeved top.
She has a short sleeve top in this
Oh.
one, but
Totally wrong.
in the first episode when they're at the jewelry store, she's wearing a variation on this. It's like a long sleeve orange top, and this it's a short sleeve blue top.
Okay.
And she's got a pink skirt with a little bow at the back, aqua tights and shoes, and then a white and blue purse.
Okay.
And then yeah, in the jewelry store episode, she had an aqua skirt with a bow, and it was like the exact same style.
Right.
And then of course Nephrite studs as Tuxedo Mask.
Which, yeah. It would be funny if they were like. I mean, I guess he's got the entire, magic powers of the Dark Kingdom behind him. But it'd be funny if they were like not off, because
Yes.
they're pretty similar. He just got
They are.
the wrong hair. But if like
Well,
it's
exactly.
like a cowboy hat instead of like a top hat, and
Yeah, they could have done the choice to go silly, but they didn't really. One thing to note, another thing that he didn't get quite right, is his mask is purple. Tuxedo mask is white.
right.
So, but yeah, other than that, and he doesn't have a cane or roses, so.
Yeah, no props. Speaking of masks,
Yeah.
Ray is sick in this one, and she does that thing where she wears the
Yes.
mask. Can we talk about
I was
Japanese
actually-
people wearing masks?
I was actually going to talk about that right now.
Oh, well, then we're thinking in sync.
So, yeah, she's wearing a mask. And this is something that is popular in Japan, but other East Asian countries as well. There are multiple different reasons why people might wear a mask. Probably one of the main reasons is they're sick, but they have to go out, or they're spending time with other people, so they don't want to get them sick. So it's a way of trying to keep their germs.
Usually you think you'd wear a mask to like keep people's germs from getting to you, but this is like, I'm trying to keep the germs in me.
Yeah, well, I think it is a little bit of what else you said as well. Because
so healthy people can wear one because they're like,
sure,
don't cough on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
you could
that's
be
weird.
like,
one is
worried
really
about getting
considerate, the
sick.
other one is kind of insulting. So they should have.
You don't know which one it is. So.
Right, they should have different colored ones.
Oh,
So
there
if you're
you
wearing
go.
a red mask, it's like you're sick. But wearing
Yeah.
a blue mask, you're like, nah, stay away from me.
Right. I think there are actually a couple other reasons too, but I will.
You're a dentist.
Well, yeah.
You're a forgetful dentist.
You're a doctor. I can like look into other cultural reasons why they might wear a mask. And we can get back to that at another time. So that's kind of it for the clothing in this episode. And then we are at our villain gauge, 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Who are we rating?
Either we rate Nephrite as being Tuxedo Mask, or we rate, I think we have to rate Nephrite or we rate the lion.
Well, we're clearly gonna fight Nephrite again.
True.
I mean, I don't have any advanced knowledge. I've just watched anime. I know what's gonna happen.
I know.
So, I mean, it's a little premature to do him. And
I see what you're saying.
the lion he was just summoned sort of by Nephrite, but he didn't have any
He's not really
personality of his
Yoma.
own.
No.
And he doesn't have a name really, if he's just Leo or whatever.
Right.
And they
Regulus.
don't even finish the fight with him.
I know.
So
he disappears and so does Nephrite.
Yeah. I mean, who do they fight? The elevator? Like, it doesn't.
Okay, maybe we just give the baddie this week an incomplete, because there is.
I think it's got to be an incomplete.
Okay, incomplete. Then.
Yeah, no Yoma.
Yeah. I guess I want to know how Nephrite knew that Usagi and Rei were Sailor Moon and Sailor Mars, or did he just send it to everybody? Because did Ami get a love letter?
I think that he must have sent one to every kid in town. He must have.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I'm more concerned about why he has, the home addresses of every kid in town. That's scarier than any plan that the Dark Kingdom has for us.
Did he specifically target 14-year-old girls?
He must have.
That is really creepy.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe his experience, well, there's something that we didn't see, because he knows that. So what's his first point of contact? It's being a tennis coach for a 17-year-old, let's say, right?
Right.
But then
because she's a little older, yeah.
Right, but he wasn't there when they came to see her at the school. I don't know.
It's so hard to figure out.
Yeah, how does he know that Sailor Moon is 14?
Good point. He doesn't.
I don't like this. Maybe every female under the age of 25, and Miss Aruna's birthday was yesterday, got a letter.
Oh my gosh.
This is
that's,
horrifying.
Even more letters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if
what was he? He had no criteria at all.
Yeah, right. Just
Boy,
teenager.
Yeah, I wish I
That
could
was
rate
it.
him and give him a really low rating. This is really weird. Plus, that's a lot of that. Now we know the real strength of having all those people in the background, because it's
What's
like,
that?
all right, I got a plan. I'm going to need all of you, and then everybody has to just stuff in envelopes all night, and they're like, "Ugh, this is
I hate Nephrite.
evil football's on. I can't watch it. I got to stuff envelopes."
Jedi
for
never made us do
Nephrite's
this.
dumb plan. We're moving into mail fraud, everybody. Wow.
They all have to go out at the same time.
Come on, people.
be delivered
They're
at
all
the same-
licking stamps and they got 5 tongues.
Yeah, did he send it through the post office?
Yeah, this is
So many questions.
Yeah.
All right, so it is time for us to rate the episode and say what our English or Deke titles are. I liked that Nephrite pretended to be Tuxedo Mask, but I feel like he could have done a better job overall on his disguise. So I gave it a 3 out of 5 roses.
3 out of 5 thrown roses. Real or fake? What if he throws like a carnation? Like, you're not Tuxedo Mask.
Right?
This is a weird episode.
It is.
I guess I have enjoyed once we lost Jadeite, see you at the crossroads, buddy. I was comfortable with seeing more bad guys because let's face it, our heroes are 14-year-old girls, and sometimes there's only so much that they can do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, this week we won a chance to go to a dude ranch for this contest. Like it becomes kind of Perfect Strangers sitcom-y, do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't mind seeing the bad guys necessarily, but I don't want them to like take the show over. And I kind of really wonder what's going on with this guy and his weird stars and his
house,
magical letter sending abilities.
Yes.
He's got to have a cool car.
I know, right?
Of course he's got a car. And he doesn't, he drives, it's not like he gets like a demon to drive it for him. Like he drives it. So he enjoys his position.
Yes.
I think he likes this.
I think he does.
He might have already been working on some letters before this plan came up. But I got to go 3 as well. I don't know. Part of it feels kind of important because we really get like an extended amount of time between. I mean, she put all that stuff on for a date, and then she kind of goes on like a weird death elevator date with Tuxedo Mask. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's just good writing, but that's all special. But otherwise, it's just kind of the Nephrite show, and I don't know.
Yeah.
There are things I like and things I don't, to the point where they basically cancel each other out, and I'd probably say 3.
Yeah, I hear ya. So my English title for this episode is Usagi Beware! False Love Rights!
False Love Rights. Whoa. And my lousy 90s Cartoon Network title is Return to Sender.
Oh, I like it. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 20. Can you believe it?
No.
20 already.
I can't.
The title is Natsuyo, Umiyo, Seshunyo, Umake ni Yuremoyo in Japanese. The Summer, The Beach, Youth and Ghosts, the English translation. And no English title as it was not included in the Deke dub.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you see that one coming?
No, we haven't had one of those in a while.
I know. I was a little surprised too, but here it is.
Nara's late. Here
Yeah,
we go.
I know.
This is it.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Return to Sender.